Hi, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started here in about 2 minutes. We're just waiting for a few more attendees. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So I want to thank everybody for joining today's webinar. We'll be discussing the Ohio School Safety Grant that just came out and what it looks like selecting a rapid response solution for the everyday extreme. A few quick items I wanted to mention that we were going to cover today is the webinar is going to be recorded and sent out afterwards. All attendees will be on listen only mode, so we will have the chat feature open for any questions. So feel free during the presentation to ask any questions you may have. And then I'd like to introduce our panel. So we have Will Fullerton, Head of Government Affairs here at CENTEGIX, Jeff Downs, one of our premier partners here at CENTEGIX, and then myself, Ryan Baswell. And today we will be discussing the Ohio School Safety Grant, the key factors for choosing the right solution, what is crisis alert, law enforcement integrations, so making sure that we can integrate with your local law enforcement, and then finish up with questions and answers. And I will kick it over to Will to get us started around the grant.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks, Ryan. As Ryan just mentioned, my name is Will Fullerton. I oversee our government and regulatory affairs shop at CENTEGIX. And as most folks on the call probably know, last year in 2021, Governor DeWine appropriated $5 million in school safety grants. There were almost 1,300 applicants, and of those, 95 received grants. And then this year, fast forwarding, just recently, they announced another $100 million in appropriations for these school safety grants. And what that means is that each eligible school can receive up to $100,000 in aggregate. And that is if you were one of the 1,183 schools that applied last year and did not receive grants, you're now eligible to up to the max of $50,000. And then you can also apply for the 2022 program for another $50,000 ceiling, and getting us together, a whole pot of $100,000 per campus per school. And what that looks like as an example from our conversations with the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission is, let's say CENTEGIX Elementary applied for the 2022 program last year. They were eligible but did not receive funding. They are now eligible to apply in almost a consolidated process for what adds up to about $47 million out of that $100 million appropriation for grants ceiling out at $50,000. And then they can also apply again for that 2022 program. So if they receive $40,000 for the 2021 program, the ceiling is then raised for the 2022 program, and they can receive up to $60,000. Now, Ryan, if you flip over to the next screen, All purchases must come off of the authorized equipment list. And where our solution, where Crisis Alert from CENTEGIX qualifies, row 30 is in row 31 as system alert notifications, row 42 for installation, row 43 for shipping, and row 44 for training. Jeff's taken a great screenshot right here of exactly where those exist, kind of in that behemoth of a spreadsheet. And I'm going to pass it over to him to further dive into kind of what you should be looking for.
All right. Thank you, Will. Really appreciate you. Good morning, everyone. Want to talk a little bit about the importance of what rapid response actually provides for your overall security plan of your campus. The first thing is immediate notification and confirmation of an emergency that's happening on your campus. It is so important for this immediate notification to be sent to all first response teams so that response can be swift and very effective. And location is everything. If we cannot find you, we cannot help you. So location, location, location is always so important when you're picking out a rapid response technology. And then also need to have a rapid response technology that handles the everyday occurrences that happen on your school campuses to the extreme. And I think we all know what that range is. And then the last thing is that something that is going to be wearable and discreet. So if you do have a problem that's happening on the campus, you want to be able to discreetly alert your first response team. And that is very important when you're thinking and selecting technology. So let's get into exactly what Crisis Alert actually brings to the table. The first thing is it's a 100% focused emergency notification system. It is basically as simple as press button, help comes. This is not new technology. This technology has been sold in the South and the southeastern states for the last 4 years. We've got over 2 million people that are being protected on this platform, with over 200,000 rooms secured and over 200 plus school districts here in the South that have been using this technology for a very long time. We take a very layered approach to security, just like all of your security professionals that work with you. I'm sure you've done so many things around prevention for anything that could possibly happen on your campus, and I know you've been preparing your staffs. Where the Crisis Alert solution actually resides is in the response side of the house. How do we respond to these events that do happen on our campus? No matter how much prevention or how much preparation, things are always going to be happening, and we have to have a good plan in place to respond to those events. While those kind of events, especially the extreme, this is a very good graphic that shows no matter how great your law enforcement is in your community, it's going to take them time to respond to any given emergency that you're alerting them with. Typically, the average is 3 to 5 minutes. If you've seen any of the violence and the school shootings that have happened, all the data points that all of these events are very front-loaded with casualties. So that tells us that we have to be doing something at the same time that law enforcement is responding and acting as one solid team. So getting people behind closed doors, hardened corners is essential to ensure safety on your campus. Rapid response is the #1 way that we save lives. And a lot of people think that, oh, there must be an app for that, and we can just go ahead and put it onto our mobile devices. Well, there's a lot of problems with that when it comes to school campus security. The first thing is that we have found, if we dig into the data, is that app-based solutions have a very low adoption rate. The adoption rate by teachers, by staff members, they do not want to put district-owned apps on their phones, and therefore they don't really use them. So they're not used very widely. The other thing is dead zones and location issues. An app-based solution rides on a cellular backbone, and I know everyone that is viewing this webinar today has had a difficult time in a building trying to get a data signal or a phone call out. And if you can imagine your rapid response technology is riding on that kind of a backbone, and you get attacked in an area where there is a dead zone, the system is not going to notify your first response team. The other thing is inaccurate information. What an app-based solution typically does is it puts a triangulation and pins it in a map at an address. It does not tell you what floor they're on. It does not tell you what room level or what room number they're in. So therefore, the location information is very shoddy at best. And then again, it's also too complicated an emergency. If I'm sure you all know that once you actually have an app-based solution, you've got to unlock your phone, you've got to find your app, then you have to initiate the command to actually get a signal out and hope and pray that you have your phone with you. So there are a lot of different issues when we think about mobile apps and putting a rapid response technology onto them. That's why CENTEGIX created the Crisis Alert system. The Crisis Alert badge that you see here in front of you has two functions. It can operate in two ways. Every staff member wears one, and they have the ability to call down for help for the minor emergencies that happen on your campus all the way to the extreme. The staff alert that we call takes 3 clicks of the badge. You can see here there is a button on the top of this badge. I click it 3 times. It's now vibrating in my hand. And as the user, I know now that I have sent a signal to my first response team that's on campus that I need help. And this is what that would look like. Medical emergencies, school violence, elopement, those are things that we consider very minor emergencies that would not be required to actually go out to law enforcement. So these type of alerts stay in-house to your designated first response team on your campus, which is typically going to be SROs, administrators, maybe selected teachers, but you as the district professionals choose your response team, and then we work with that response team. This is how it would look actually if I did create that alert. I click my badge 3 times. Immediately on the security console in your front office, a map of the campus that we load up into our software will automatically pull up. An audible alert will actually happen. Due to the format that we're running this webinar, I can't give you that sound, but it does sound much like an Amber Alert that comes over our mobile phone. So it's very audible and very distinct. As soon as the alert is created and initiated, you'll see a red blinking dot on the screen. That shows you where that person is when they initiated that alert. And then it actually has this side panel that actually shows who it is and where they are, giving your first response team real-time information to respond as quickly as possible, because every second matters in an emergency. After the staff alert, the badge can also initiate lockdown protocol. So if a teacher or a staff member sees a weapon on the campus, they have the ability, by clicking this button multiple times, when they click this button multiple times, a sound will come over the intercom, an announcement that is read in multiple language, and also a screen capture will happen with this particular type of screen. So it will show on smart boards, on computers, on any terminal that the district designates that they would like this to actually flash, giving you a audible and a visual, audio and visual notification that something needs to happen because we've seen something on campus that's down to the extreme. This message can also be customized by the district as well. Once the badge is actually clicked multiple times, and we train every one of your staff members to just keep clicking until they see these lights from these strobes going off on the ceilings. We install these in every hallway, bathroom, classroom, office, any major area like a gymnasium or a cafeteria. We also install these on the exterior of your building, because this system doesn't just cover inside, it also covers outside in the parking lots and the athletic fields and the playgrounds. Once you've clicked this button multiple times, these things all happen simultaneously. The strobes will flash red. The audio integration to your intercom will be reading a message in multiple languages about the lockdown scenario. Screen capture will happen, and then this goes out to both inside response teams in your school buildings and to outside law enforcement. Yes, the system does connect to 911 dispatch automatically on those extreme situations. When we look at the other parts to the system, the administrators, or what we call the first response team, will get what we call the companion app. The app is able to actually initiate other protocol than just the lockdown protocol. You can see here on the graphic, there will be a menu, and that terminology is customizable. We actually default to the I Love You Guys Foundation's protocol, and each one of those buttons on that phone are active. So if I'm an administrator and I have a weather report that's come through that says we have inclement weather that's coming through during dismissal, I don't want to let my kids out, so I'm going to put a shelter in place or a hold, and we're going to basically keep everybody in the building. When I initiate that alert through the app, it's going to ask me, do I really want to initiate this alert as an administrator? I'm going to press yes, and immediately these lights on the ceilings that we install will flash the color of the protocol. So if it's a shelter in place, these will be flashing blue. The screen capture that you will see will now say shelter in place versus what it was said a minute ago with lockdown. The only part of the system that can initiate that alert is the administrators. Teachers and staff members wear these, and they can only initiate lockdown protocol. This is given to an administrator, and they can initiate the entire menu. This system also has an incredible capability to actually collect data so that you as the campus or as the administration and as your security professionals, you can collect the data and sharpen up your benchmarks on your security plan. It gives you a dashboard look like what you see here. It also has the ability to download all of that data into a spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet format so that you can share with board members or other constituents in your district. How our technology works is very simple. It is a wearable emergency notification device. Everybody wears one of these badges, and it's an independent from all cellular and your school's network. So any IT people on the call today, you are going to become our best friends because we're not going to ask you to manage this system. It doesn't ride on anything that you've already put in place. We know how important that is to you, and that's why we designed it this way. We also designed it this way because we don't want to have the shoddy service of a cell system that maybe isn't working in parts of your building. This is a diagram of how the technology actually works. It actually operates on a low energy Bluetooth 5 signaling. They signal to these strobes where the badge signals to the strobes, then signals to our hubs that we place all around your building in strategic places. And that hub network then creates a Zigbee mesh network. So the Zigbee technology is what creates the signal that goes into our gateway, which is housed in your IT closet. We ask for an internet connection in and out because we monitor the health of every single one of these devices that we implement into your campuses. We know the exact signal strength of these, and we know the energy levels of exactly every single piece of equipment that we deploy into your site. So it is a proactive, monitored system. The implementation is very simple. It takes us about 90 to 120 days to actually implement this into your school district, and there are 3 phases to it. An onboarding specialist will be assigned to your district, and we will go through a planning phase with our team and your team. During that planning phase, all of the installation schedules, the access to your buildings, which by the way, we install this all at nighttime. We do not interrupt your school day. And we also inform law enforcement as well, because when we are implementing the system, we test it often, and that test is audible and there's audio alerts that will be going over your campus at night. And so we make sure that everybody is on the same page when we're installing this. Then after we install the hardware, which typically takes us less than 2 weeks to install a school district once we actually are on that schedule, then what we do is we do a battery of tests, and we do a lot of training with your staff and your first response teams to get this system to go live. Once the system is ready to go live, then we turn it up for you and you are ready to use it. How we connect to law enforcement is these 3 different ways. We have our software that comes with the crisis alert. If the 911 center is able to use our app, we will be able to go ahead and integrate that way with them. We can also do operator interfaces, and we also have a third-party integration that we can actually connect the 2 systems together. It's really going to depend on how your 911 system work or how your 911 system will work with this system, and then we integrate with any ways that they actually want us to do. And the 3 key takeaways here is there is no cost to you, the school district, or 911 for this capability. There is a choice to use CENTEGIX app or an integration through Rapid SOS. And what Rapid SOS provides is an E911 call and a backup operator assisted call to 911. So you don't even have to go over and pick up the phone to call 911 if you have crisis alert in your schools. That's pretty much the presentation. My name is Jeff Downs. I'm the founder of Checkmate Safety Solutions. As Ryan said, I'm a strategic partner with CENTEGIX that works in Ohio, And so for any crisis alert information that you might need for your grant application, I'd be happy to provide that for you and also create a proposal so that you can review it. Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and turn it right back over to you for Q&A.
Thanks, Jeff. Please feel free to submit any questions you may have within the chat feature. We have our first one here. Is there flexibility in terms of payment for the system?
Okay. So as far as payment for the system, there is some flexibility when we create our contracts for you. And again, I will be reviewing all of this with you once you contact me. We do a 3-year and a 5-year term. But what we do is we consider every single district client, no matter how big or how small, and we consider what your financial situation is, and we will find ways to work with you.
Great, thank you, Jeff. We have another one here. How has supply chain issues affected CENTEGIX, or has it?
So there has been no issues at all as far as supply chain goes, because our people that have been running the supply chain side of the house have been very, very forward thinking. We have actually installed this in over 200 plus school districts now at this point, and we've never had an issue with not being able to get equipment. So supply chain has not been an issue at all for us.
Great. Another question, is there any wires that have to be ran for the system?
That's a great question. One would normally think this technology would be a wired technology, but the way that we have designed it is for a low intrusive installation. All of these strobes that I was showing you earlier are a wireless system, and so these actually operate, as I was saying earlier, on a Bluetooth capability, so they do not need any kind of hard connect wiring that goes to these strobes. The hubs that we install will plug directly into your outlets and secure to your outlets, but those also operate on a low energy Bluetooth that's undiscoverable by devices. And again, we proactively monitor all the signal strength of these, so it is not wired today.
Great. We have another question here, Jeff and Will. Cost and yearly fee structure.
So costs and yearly fee structure, that's going to be something that we would want to cover individually. So because every district is different, we will cover costs. Once you contact me, I will go over costs with you at that point in time. But I can assure you this technology is extremely affordable, and will definitely you'll have plenty of room in the grant in order to have this system for multiple years.
Great. One more that just came in. When the device is activated, can you see the location of the incident on your phone?
So first response team will be able to see the location of the incident on their phone, because we load up that companion app to all of the first responders. So if I'm an SRO on the campus, we would load up a CENTEGIX Crisis Alert app onto their mobile device. And so whenever an alert happens, that mobile device is tied directly to the system, and immediately that campus map and that audible alert that will come up that will let them know that there is something going on the campus will show up directly on their phone. And it will also show up on a security console that the district designates. Maybe that might be in the front office or a security office if you have one of those on your campus.
Great. We have one more question here that just came in as well. With the 3 clicks of the button, can you walk through what that staff alert, and can you keep analytics of why folks are pressing the button?
Yes, when you say, can I walk through, I'm not sure what you mean by walk through. Like what I covered earlier?
Exactly.
Okay, so what I covered earlier is if let's say I'm in a 5th grade teacher and I'm in room 6, I have an angry parent that has circumvented the office and found their way into my classroom to confront me. I can discreetly press this button 3 times while that parent is yelling at me, and it's vibrating in my hand right now. That vibration, as the user, I know that I have sent a signal to my front office and to the walking around security detail, which is typically an SRO or another administrator. They will automatically see that I need help in room 6 by that map that I was showing you earlier. So once that actually occurs, they will be able to make a beeline directly to my room because they see that I'm in room 6. Now, what happens if I'm on the playground and I have a medical emergency? A student maybe falls and hurts themselves. I can also press this button 3 times while I'm standing out on the playground, and on the map that shows up on all the first response teams' phones and also at the security console in the front office, it will show me blinking outside on the playground. It will not show me in room 6. So it shows me wherever I am on that campus and wherever I initiate that alert. The alert, I can only be found once I actually initiate the alert. These badges do not track employees.
And then as far as analytics, Jeff, are you able to keep track of those?
Yes, so the system, every single alert will actually trigger in the system, and it will require this, the alert to be closed by an administrator. Once that alert is closed, they have to list a reason for the closing of that alert and who actually closed it. So it will show who initiated it, if I'm the teacher out on the playground, and then who closed it, who may be the SRO or the school nurse or the administrator of the building that actually closed the system. That will all show up in a report and also on your dashboard.
We have another question. Monitoring the outside of your campus, parking lots, etc. Is that possible?
Yes, this system extends out. This is total campus coverage. Inside the building, every room, hallway, bathroom, office, every place where we have this equipment, it will be able to actually locate any employee. We also put them on the exterior of the building. We use a locating beacon that we will put out into the parking lots, and we also use a solar powered beacon that we put in far out athletic spaces. So if you have stadiums, baseball areas, tennis courts, baseball fields or tennis courts and stuff, we will cover all of that area. As far out as you want this coverage to go, we can make that happen with the system.
Great. We have another question around school buses and how that works.
So school buses are not covered today. We do not put any of our equipment into school buses, but however, in the training, because we install these all over the outside of the building, in the training, we say to bus drivers, if there is an extreme situation that's happening on the campus, you will see these lights flashing red on the outside of the building. If you have a bus full of kids, go to your reunification location. Do not drop off kids at the front of the school because there is a lockdown in process. That's all happening within the training, and I'm sure I'm sure you all have that as well in your safety plans.
Perfect. Any other questions from any of the attendees? Give another minute or so.
And once again, I want to reiterate, if you do want information on this system and you want a proposal, please contact me at that number, and I'll flash it up here again. And I'd be happy to help you out with any of your questions after this webinar.
Great. Well, I think we answered all the questions. Thanks again, Jeff and Will. And that will conclude today's webinar.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Go Bucks.